It was a Sunday afternoon, the kind of day that feels too quiet for comfort. My wife, Hannah, and I had gone to visit my mother for lunch, a routine we'd done dozens of times before. My mom had always been kind to Hannah, or at least she used to be. But over the past few months, her tone had changed. She'd started treating my marriage like something she could grade, comparing everything we did to some invisible standard she thought I wasn't meeting. That day, I didn't expect things to go any differently. We sat down for lunch, the three of us at her polished wooden table, eating the meal she'd proudly made. Conversation started light: work updates, neighborhood gossip, my mom's endless commentary about how things were better in her day. I excused myself for a moment to take a call from a colleague outside, stepping onto the porch. The call ended quickly, but when I came back to the hallway, I paused. My mom and Hannah were still talking, unaware that I was standing by the door. What I heard next felt like a quiet punch to the chest. "So," my mom said in that curious tone she used when fishing for drama, "how's married life treating you? I hope my son isn't boring you yet." Hannah laughed lightly, trying to keep it casual. "No, of course not. We're doing fine." But my mom wasn't done. "You know," she continued, "I still remember that young man you dated before him. What was his name? Tyler, right? The one who took you on that trip to New York. He seemed like he had everything together. A real go-getter." There was a long pause before Hannah answered, her tone careful. "Tyler was different, yes, but that was a long time ago. Ben and I have our own rhythm." My mom sighed dramatically. "I just want you to be happy, dear. I worry sometimes that my son doesn't have the same drive. Tyler had ambition. He talked about starting his own company, buying a house early. Ben's always been comfortable." I froze where I stood, the words echoing in my chest. Comfortable. It wasn't the first time she'd said that about me, but hearing her say it to my wife was something else entirely. Hannah was quiet for a few seconds. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady. "With all due respect, Mom, I didn't marry your son for ambition. I married him because he's kind, patient, and he actually listens. Tyler made big promises, but he also made me feel small. Ben never has." My mom chuckled softly, almost dismissively. "Oh, you're just being sweet. Every wife says nice things at first. I'm just saying, sometimes stability isn't enough to keep a woman happy." That was enough. I stepped inside, trying to keep my expression calm even though my pulse was pounding. "Everything okay in here?" I asked, pretending I'd just returned. Both women froze slightly. My mom smiled too quickly. "Oh, we were just talking about old times." "Sounded more like comparisons," I said, taking my seat again. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut through the air. My mom shifted uncomfortably. "Ben, don't be so sensitive. I was just making conversation." "By telling my wife you wish she'd married someone else?" I asked, still keeping my tone measured. Hannah reached for my hand under the table, squeezing it lightly, but I didn't look away from my mom. Her face flushed slightly. "That's not what I meant," she said quickly. "You know I only want what's best for both of you." "What's best," I said quietly, "is respect. Especially when I'm not in the room." The room fell silent. For the first time in a long while, my mother looked unsure of what to say. Hannah gently spoke next, her voice soft but clear. "Mom, I love you, and I know you care, but Ben and I are partners. You might not see his ambition, but I do every day. It's in the way he works quietly for the things that matter, not for attention." My mom blinked, caught off guard by the firmness in her tone. She nodded slowly, then sighed. "Maybe I spoke out of turn. I didn't mean to cause trouble." "You didn't cause trouble," I said, standing up. "You just reminded me why I stopped explaining myself to people who only measure worth by achievements." We left soon after, the air between us and my mother thick with unspoken tension. In the car, Hannah turned to me. "I'm sorry you had to hear that." I shook my head. "Don't apologize. You handled her better than I ever could." She smiled faintly. "She's your mom. She'll come around." "Maybe," I said quietly. "But what matters is, you didn't let her make me small." She reached across and took my hand. Never will. That night, as I sat on the couch thinking about everything, I realized something. Sometimes, love isn't proven in grand gestures or achievements. It's proven in small moments, like when someone defends you while you're not even in the room. And as for my mom, I decided I'd let her learn at her own pace. Because no amount of comparison could take away the truth Hannah showed me that day. Being comfortable doesn't mean lacking drive. It means being secure enough not to prove your worth to people who can't see it.